We're making rosemary lentil soup today. So we're going to use red lentils. We're going to have 3 cups of red lentils, the juice and the zest of 1 lemon, about a tablespoon, maybe 2, depends on how fragrant you would like your soup, of fresh rosemary, salt to taste. We're going to use a little bit of red cayenne pepper, garlic. We've got about 5 cloves there. We're going to use a yellow pepper. You could use whatever color pepper you want, but in keeping with a mild flavor and the coloration, we're going to use a yellow pepper. We're going to use about 6 carrots that we're going to dice. And this happens to be a very large onion, so we're going to use about half of it. So you want to use a medium to large. This one's pretty supersized. So we're going to use about half of this onion. We're going to dice that up as well. And 4 cups of either water, chicken broth, or vegetable broth. So whatever kind of broth you want to use, just not beef broth. And we're going to put this in our slow cooker to cook for 6 hours. So let's get started. All right, so we'll start our prep. Get our garlic in our press. We'll do all 5 of these. This is not going to have a lot of spices other than the salt and the cayenne pepper. So add a great background note. So we've got all those done. I'll move that off to the side. Next, we're going to chop our pepper. I'm going to take the top off. You see, by doing it that way, the stem comes right out. We're going to save that for our vegetable scraps. And we're going to take out the middle with all the seeds. And just cut all those connections, and I can take nearly the whole seed pod out. And now I'm going to chop the whole pepper so that we can put that into the slow cooker when we're done. So get that whole thing chopped. We want to have fairly even pieces because we're not pureeing this at the end. So you want to, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want the sizes to be fairly uniform. All right, so I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'm going to cut it into, are known as batons. You just want even strips. We'll do that with this half as well. And I'm just moving my knife essentially the same amount each time. All right, so move that off to the side, and we'll get an amount that's easy enough to chop. Move that off to the side and repeat until we get the whole pepper chopped up. Move our carrots out of the way. So you'll see this is going to have a very bright color when we're done because we're using all of these bright colors. And because it's going to cook for 6 hours, shapes are not really going to be well defined. It's going to be kind of mushy, but we're cutting this so that it's all going to cook evenly. All right, last of the pepper. We'll get the whole thing into our bowl. Don't want to waste anything. All right, so next up, we're going to peel our carrots. I'm going to move our knife out of the way. So you start however you want to do it, but I like to peel away long strips. I first start by peeling one way, and then I get the end. Move my carrot off to the side and work on the next one. All these scraps are going to go into chicken broth or vegetable stock. So none of that is going to go to waste, including the tops. Everything will be used. This carrot's kind of small. Now you could scrub your carrots. If you scrub your carrots, you would probably keep a little bit more nutrition, but this isn't so bad. You used to use the back of your knife to scrape the carrot, but I like to use the peeler just to get the outside off. All right, we got 2 more. Goes pretty fast. Last carrot. Now what I do is for each carrot, I take off the root and the tip, and they go into this vegetable scrap pile. Root and tip. And the tip. So all of this is going to go in the scrap pile. We need to clean off our board, so I'm going to go ahead and get my vegetable bag, clean that off, and start again. All right, it's time to get our onion chopped. So, going to take the root end off. This will also go into the vegetable scraps that we will use. Using the root end as our guide, we're going to cut this in half. And as I said earlier, we're only going to use half of this onion because it's humongous. So I'm going to put half of this off to the side. I'm going to peel off the papery skin, which will be used. There we go, with a little bit extra. All right, so our root end right here, we're going to chop our onion into even pieces. Piece that flew away. And because of the way we cut it, you can see all the pieces fall into fairly even sizes. Just want to do this as slowly or as quickly as you're comfortable with. And you'll notice I turn it on its side when I'm done, just to be extra safe, and I cut those last pieces up that way. So you're looking at about, cup and a quarter of chopped onion. And so we'll, a little papery skin, we'll get that into its own bowl. All of that onion out. So this dish is all about preparation. All you're doing is prepping the whole time. All right, so our next item to prep is going to be our carrots. Same thing as we did with the onions. We're just going to cut it into even pieces. So first I'm going to start by cutting it in half for each one, and then I'm going to cut each one of these in half so I have a flat surface. Same thing with the smaller end. You want to have a nice flat surface. And you'll notice the size. I want the size to be essentially the same, so I'm using the end as my guide. And I'm just going to cut across. And you can cut these a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller. It really just depends on how you want to, what texture you want at the end. Because this is harder. These are going to hold their shape more than the carrots and the peppers. So we'll go ahead and get the rest of these all cut up and put into our bowl. All right, so now it's time to put it all together and get it going. So we're going to put in our lentils, 3 cups of lentils. We've got our large onion. We've got our pepper. We have our garlic. We have 4 cups of chicken stock. Get all that in there. And then lastly, we're going to season with some salt. About 2 teaspoons of salt. And for a little bit of kick, we're going to put a little cayenne pepper in there. Not too much. You can always add some later. And we're going to put this to cook on low for 6 hours, and we'll have a really delicious and nutritious lunch item in this case. It could be a dinner item if you'd like, but I'm going to actually have it for lunch. So we'll be back in 6 hours. You probably noticed that I forgot to put in the six carrots that we cut up, so we're going to get those in there as well. We're going to give that a good stir, and we're going to get that covered up and cooking for us. All right, our 6 hours are up, and we're ready to go ahead and plate up our lentil soup. So we've got carrots, red lentils, we've got our yellow pepper and onions, and we're going to season this a bit more with some fresh chopped rosemary. We're going to add some lemon zest. You want to make sure when you're zesting you don't get to the pith, which is the white part. So we're going to add some lemon zest. Make sure you turn your lemon. You'll find sometimes it gets caught, if you will, on the back end here. So you just can use your finger and put that in there. Oh my God, you can smell the lemon right now. And then I'm also going to juice some lemon here. And you can add as much or as little as you'd like. So my suggestion is put some, taste it, see how you like it. Because I will tell you that when you taste this, you're going to say, that's delicious. Enjoy.